Luffy's brother Sabo is the new Emperor of the Sea. Well, you know, Flame Emperor. It's the same thing, right? He has his own title. But with Sabo's ascension and him being the forefront of the Revolutionary Army, One Piece's endgame has now completely shifted the balance of power in the world. But what does this all mean for the story? Like, did Sabo really kill Vivi's father? Did he kidnap the princess? What's going on? But most importantly, what's gonna happen next? Well, we are going to break down exactly that and also explain how the final war in One Piece will take place. For a while, I've been spouting the idea that One Piece will end with the celestial dragons and the world government toppled, replaced with a new system of governance. The constant build-up for the kingdoms throughout the world with their respective princesses will pay off. Luffy liberating each of these kingdoms in essence will be him facilitating a new world, as the leaders of these countries will form a round table based on freedom and democracy. And Sabo D Flames is at the center of it all. But talking about fire, if you guys want to light up your wardrobe, then check out animedrip.shop and use the code FLAMES to get 15% off. Okay, so as one would assume, the Revolutionary Army led by Monkey D. Dragon will be at the forefront of the final war. This war is most definitely gonna make Marineford and Wano look small, especially if the end result is to completely shut down MOD Judas, remove the Celestial Dragons from power, destroy the Red Line, on top of uniting the world and all races. Like damn, that's gonna be one hell of an arc. Either way, rallying people against the world government is a tall task to say the least, and to do so, the Revolutionary Army needs strong faces. Dragon alone is not enough. That is exactly why Sabo, the sworn brother of Luffy and Ace, has stepped up to the role. After the events of chapter 1054 of the manga, Sabo has been titled the Flame Emperor by people, placing him as one of the biggest enemy of the world government. This chapter also revealed that Nefertari Cobra, the king of Alabasta, had been assassinated by Sabo at the reverie. This created countless sparks worldwide, as something of this order is a direct challenge to the current world powers. This happened right in front of the home turf, during a royal meeting where one would assume to be completely secure. All of this gives the idea that the nobles are not infallible, giving people hope that the days of the world government are nearing their end. After this news spread, people around the world in hopes for a rebellion are seen screaming Sabo's name, and the world government themselves have recognized Sabo's name is now greater than that of Monkey D. Dragon himself. But this does raise the question, did Sabo really kill Nefertari Cobra?
Who?
Hey yo, you gotta stop that. We all know who he is, right? Come on. Now Cobra's death did indeed boost the infamy of Sabo and the Revolutionary Army. However, there is a big catch here. Cobra's ancestor denied the offer to become celestial dragons and aren't typically a good representation of them. In fact, it could be said that out of the 20 allied nations that form the government, the Nefertaris are the outcast. In chapter 908, the 5 elders even went far to label the Nefertaris as traitors for staying in the lower realm. So this makes them rather an unusual target in a sense. For the Revolutionary Army, forming some sort of alliance or even kidnapping them would have been far better. So why would Sabo do this? Well, what if he didn't? Yes, big surprise, right? Oh come on, we all know he didn't kill Cobra. In fact, knowing Oda, Cobra could still be very much alive. So what's actually going on? Well, Sabo's infiltration of Mary Geoise was primarily to cause an uproar by declaring war against the world government. This would in effect ignite the flames of rebellion across the world, in which it did. By destroying the hooves of the celestial dragon in the residential area of the land of gods, they declared war. During this mission, Sabo also took the liberties in saving their former comrade Kuma. But the thing is, coincidentally, whilst this was going on, Im-sama also gave her next hit piece and light to snuff out. as in chapter 908, Im-sama slashes the picture of Luffy, Blackbeard and Shirahoshi, and she holds the poster of Princess Vivi in her hand. In the next few pages, the 5 elders bow down to him and proceeds to ask, "Which light shall you snuff out next?" as they say. I mean, think about it from a writing perspective. Oda could have simply shown Sabo killing Nefertari, as this would have held much more of emotional weight and would have been one of the peak moments that would build a much awaited final saga, and yet he went with this. So there's a good chance that Cobra was killed by the world government, which ties to what happened to his daughter Vivi as well. I believe with the help of her dying father, Vivi managed to escape her assassination or potential abduction. Possibly the revolutionary could have taken her in, or she was protected by swords, or perhaps even a celestial dragon. We have to remember that Swords, primarily Garp, was in charge of looking after Shirahoshi, but at one point she was taken captive by Charlos, only then to be freed by another celestial dragon, Saint Don Quixote Miosgard. Miosgard literally said his entire power is at their disposal. This is the same dude who showed Queen Otohime respect after his life was saved by her. So it would make a lot of sense that Miosgard would help Vivi secretly escape, as she became very close friends with Shirahoshi, who he is indebted to. The other possibility is Vivi was saved by Sabo, or just hid between Shirahoshi's boobs or something. You know, it's possible. You know, it had been done before.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Regardless, Im-sama wanted the Nefertari line dead for a reason, and Vivi surviving will pose a threat later down the line, where this will help the old government from being overthrown. From the looks of it, it seems like both sides are preparing themselves for war, and we currently are in the midst of a countdown for the greatest and most influential battle the world will ever see. With that said, the revolutionaries are not the only threat, as the government has always feared communication between the Yonkos, as seen in the series when Kaido and Big Mom joined hands, or even simply when Shanks went to meet up with Whitebeard. Now that the old emperors have fallen, the fear of the future has become even more bleak. Everything is foreshadowing the collapse of the world government, and Luffy defeating the Yonkos affects the world government even more than you would think. You may be asking how? Well, that's because the world government has grown exponentially weaker in recent times. I mean, they beat the strongest man in the world and put his crew into shambles. What could have gone wrong, right? Well, everything. The 3 admirals at the time were Akainu, Akoji, and Kizaru. After Akainu was promoted and Akoji left, a new age began for the Marines, whether they liked it or not. Fujitora joining for one changed a lot, with his primary goal of abolishing the warlord system, a goal in which he succeeded. This, whilst being good for the morality of the Marines, was a huge detriment to their power situation. They were already weakened substantially after the Paramount War. The 2 strongest Marines, Garp and Sengoku, who were around to fight on the level of powerhouses of the One Piece world, left to a lower position, barely being involved in the higher up infrastructure anymore. Even when it comes to public opinions, Luffy and the others defeating 2 Yonkos simultaneously along with their losses in the reverie will make them seem lesser in the public eyes. The government's main competitors for power were not even taken out by them. It was other pirates. At the same time, the government decided to end their affiliation with the 7 warlords. This decision wasn't really because the government didn't need the system, but out of obligation. They had to abolish it after Moria, Crocodile, and Doflamingo causing such a havoc and uproar. And though Vegapunk's technology might give them an advantage, the reality is the opposing forces will eventually drown them. Even in chapter 956 and 1054, Sabo and Akainu respectively said the Marines are spread thin. Think about it. All of the impaled down prisoners that Blackbeard let escape, Blackbeard himself, the other Yonkos, the new up and coming pirates, and then the warlords. Like, how can the Marine actually face all of them? Now, of course, they are not all united, but for sure, during the end war, all of them could be involved. Like, even Hancock, who's in love with Luffy, she was already helping him in any ways she could. So, after the abolishment of the warlord system, she will fully support our future pirate king in his endeavors, joining his side of the war. We then have Edward Weevil, but most importantly, yes, the most prolific, the god of the One Piece Luffy's world. Buggy D Clown!
Alright, let's be serious for a second here. Buggy always joins the side of self-preservation. He joined Whitebeard off the drop of a hat and then switched to the Marines as soon as it benefited him. We may meme him all the time, but the power Buggy holds is no joke. He has a humongous brigade all loyal to him, so the side he joins will be at an unprecedented advantage, and this side will be Luffy's. Why? Well, not only is he indebted to him for being given Captain John's treasure map, but also the two share an unique bond which binds them together. If you want to know more about this bond and Buggy in general, then be sure to check out the video on screen right now. But the next warlord we can be excited about is Mihawk, the strongest swordsman, who will change the tide of battle. I know the impression is that he will not be interested in participating, however, Oda has a way to bring his pieces together. Mihawk being Zoro's sensei and Shanks his friend might have something to do with his involvement. Either way, Mihawk will make his presence, but this against the government. However, apart from pirates, the opposing main force will be the Revolutionary Army, hence the fact they are an army. This foreshadowing was planted very early on. Bartholomew Kuma was a major catalyst for the Revolutionary Army to start a head-on collision with the world government, which they had previously avoided. This was likely caution on Dragon's part, worrying they did not have the power to measure up against the world government, but the government being weakened post-Marineford, this gap was closed and they stood a chance. More than this, they actually undermined the government, declaring war in the same way Luffy did. Not only this, they won this battle. Sabo and his companions managed to get one over on two admirals, freeing Kuma. Although it was explained that the admirals were restricted since the location was in the Holy Land of Mary Geoise, this doesn't disguise this fact from the public. The 8 rebelling kingdoms were inspired by Sabo going against their king, supporting the revolutionaries' cause. That's evidence enough that this had a major impact. These kingdoms are done with paying heavenly tributes to the government. They rather spend that money on anime-drip.shop. The Marines have a major issue on their hands. They have to somehow reprove to the world that they are still the most supreme. Sakazuki has been forced to order a strike on all fronts against the Revolutionary Army to show their power. This is nothing more than a bluff in my eyes though, because their power doesn't match their previous power. Not just that, but Green Bull is nowhere to be seen. Green Bull did not listen to Sakazuki's concerns about entering Wano, adding to our theory that he's actually a double agent. What I mean by this is that I believe Green Bull is just playing a role pretending to be someone he is not. Along with him, we have others like the members of Sword, even Garp and the retired Sengoku. Not saying for sure whose side they'll take, but if they did find out the truth behind the world government, they might side against them. Let's not forget about Kuzan, who is secretly carrying out his own missions after he finds what he's looking for. Convincing the other retirees from his stance wouldn't be too difficult. So now that we kind of get the gist of both sides, with the government on one and the revolutionaries on the other alongside some extras, let's see how things will play out. Firstly, the Marines need payback for what happened in the Reverie. Otherwise, the whole government will be put into question more than it already is in the eyes of the public. In this great war which is coming, the likely thing to happen is for the Marines and the world government to attack the revolutionaries' new base, which is most definitely the war-torn island of Vera, especially with Oda putting our focus back to that island in Road to Laugh Tale chapters, because come on, why would Oda suddenly mention an island which was only talked about in a newspaper at the end of Alabasta, where the revolutionaries incited a coup, likely taking over it? While the Marines wage war in Vera, the Straw Hats at the same time could become embroiled in a war against the Blackbeard pirates, because according to Road to Laugh Tale, Blackbeard has left Full Elite Island and is making his own moves in the world while the Straw Hats were busy in Wano. Also, with Oda in his recent interview with Aoyama, the author of Case Closed, talked about how he wants to end One Piece in the next 3 to 5 years. For this to happen, 2 full-on wars on a bigger scale than Wano will have to occur. If we got 35 chapters in 2021 and 2022, which looks like a similar amount with 20 chapters so far, and the raid on Onigashima has taken over 80 chapters, then that that's just not possible. One Piece will have to go on for at least 7 more years for all of the knots to be tied in, with 2 big great wars against the Marines and the Blackbeards. The logical choice would be for Oda to have the Marines and Blackbeard pirates taken care of at the same time. Because as much as Luffy has his disagreement with the Marines, Sabo inheriting Ace's fruit and being an outcast from his kingdom and home due to the system, he has more beef with the Marines and the current world order than Luffy. We could see Luffy and the Straw Hat fleet defeating Blackbeard pirates who oppose Luffy's worldview more, while his brother, the Flame Emperor, will ignite the fire of liberation on the world by laying dust to the current order of the Marines, allowing the Sword faction, which seems to be more in line with the actual goals of the Marines in defending the weak than doing the bidding of the Celestials and Im-sama. The Marines who killed Ace will be avenged by Sabo, who inherited his will of fire, while Luffy will beat the cause of Ace's capture and enemy, finishing Ace's job as the commander of the 2nd Division of Whitebeard pirates to deal with Blackbeard, who was under his command when he killed his crewmate Thatch. The name Flame Emperor will be a mark to the world of Ace's legacy, not shadowed by his father's feats. So both the brothers of Ace will tie the knots on things Ace started and wanted to achieve. We can see a similar event in Wano where Luffy fulfills Ace's promise to Tama of coming back and freeing her. Eventually, the 2 wars will overlap. Once Luffy overcomes the hurdles of defeating Shanks and Blackbeard, arriving at Laugh Tale to then complete Joy Boy's mission. The war against the world government will be concluded with the Straw Hats and their grand fleet finishing off what the revolutionaries started. This won't be because they want to participate in all the politics, rather it will be for One Piece. Luffy reaching the island of Laugh Tale will come to learn what One Piece truly means, but to achieve it, he will have to directly destroy the land of Mary Geoise, in effect helping the war against the world government. After this great war, we will finally enter a world where true justice exists, and people like Imu D. Judas, the 5 elders, and topmost marine officers like Sakazuki will be beaten and removed from their positions. This seems inevitable, as the main theme of One Piece revolves around freedom, democracy, and the strong moral values that make us human. And for these themes to be executed according to Oda's vision, the answer is for Luffy to win. Oda has stated that he sees Luffy's personality as that of a pure child, and he even said that he hopes that kids can live joyfully like him so that they can be truly happy and look forward to life. For this to happen, we need people like Smoker, Kobe, and Fujitora in power. All 3 of these people show a strong sense of justice and hold on to their morals tightly. They are truly human, as they are able to empathize with people around them. Smoker helped Luffy in defeating Crocodile, as he understood that freeing Alabasta from Crocodile's clutches was essential. Kobe argued against Akainu and delivered a beautiful speech, even if it meant death. Fujitora's decisions during the Dressrosa arc show his true understanding of justice while maintaining the right balance of being empathetic, as he even wished to have eyes so that he could see the kind face of Luffy, whom he considered to be selfless. With such strong empathetic leaders, the world would get rid of its prejudices and stigmas that prevent the people from uniting. Then we can finally have the fishmen gaining the same standing as humans, the abolishment of the celestial dragon system, and eventually even the fall of the pirate era, as all the secrets of the world will be revealed. Anyway, make sure to check out animedrip.shop because we got some fire merch. We got the Nakama shirt with all of the Straw Hats during Alabasta, we got the Zoro eyes, and we have many more flame designs coming out. And we also have a bunch of stuff from other animes like One Punch Man, Naruto. Just go check it out. And be sure to use code FLAMES for 15% off at checkout on all the orders.